Good day, welcome. New upload today from Crypto Michael. As you know, we are making daily videos, finally again. And if you like the content, please like beneath the video so I get ranked higher. Also subscribe to the channel to stay tuned. And follow me on Instagram, as from next week on I'm going to upload videos there with some beginners tips and tricks and stuff that I do in my life to just become a better trader. It's not going to be your standard Forex bullshit Rolex stuff. It's going to be me showing what I do in life. I think it's really cool, and I can bring some cool beginners tips there. Second thing I want to discuss is you see that my background changed. That's essentially through Steve, who is the trading tramp on Twitter. I saw some discussion earlier today, and overall I didn't like the white background at all anymore. It's just if I open my chart at 11 p.m. it's just whoa, hello. So I've adjusted that to this beautiful cream color. And last thing, I was on the Cointelegraph podcast yesterday, first panel with John, Tone the retard, and Eric Crown. Was pretty cool. It's always a little bit different for me to be on a podcast or a panel with 3 fellow Americans, which is always some kind of intimidating. I don't know. I'm Dutch, just relaxed, and then native fluent English speakers in the podcast is always something different, you know. But today we're going to discuss some altcoins, and I wanted to discuss Zilliqa, I wanted to discuss Chainlink and Vechain. I think we're going to start from the beginning with those charts, so we can just go through them. And the first one I wanted to discuss is Zilliqa, and we have been discussing this one, and we have been saying that after such a parabolic run, it usually bottoms out for a while. Hello? Essentially, it's the same as what you see on all these coins that have been moving already, is that it takes a while before they compress and rally again. So in this case, you see the exact same on KNC. We have seen the exact same on AV, in which you can see these parabolic runs, and then it just takes months until it goes away. Similarly with Zilliqa, we had the immense hype throughout the whole rally with FA coming in, with price doing well, and now the momentum is away and the price starts to drop down, also fueled by Bitcoin moving. Essentially, the period to be interested in Zilliqa is coming up, as the people who wanted to buy it at these dips in this area around here are probably not going to buy here right now, as they've already bought, or they are looking for lower levels, and that's how the market works. But if you want to get interested in Zilliqa, I think the areas are coming quite soon. But what do we see on the chart itself? We can see that we essentially have a downwards trending coin right now with lower highs, right? Lower lows as well, so the trend is down. But what you want to see is that we start to make a sort of bottom construction. So what do I see in this chart right now is we essentially lost the 180 level, instantly rejected it, which was also a slight block. This level, I pointed it on social media, Twitter. What other levels I'm going to look for potential longs? Well, they are quite clear. Previous highs which flip for support. There's a gap here in between the charts still. Doesn't have to close, but it's something we have to keep an eye on. These are the levels that I'll be interested in. And as we can see, we have tested, I'll just make it black or whatever color I can make it, blue. We have tested this high, but essentially we are stuck in between now. So I'm going to erase this blue one, as I assume that the level that we're going to test is this block here. So if you see the price at 167 and we have rejected at 182, we have support between 128 to 140, maybe even 150, 145. You're not going to buy at 168 because you have to place your stop here, and your TP is probably here, which makes it no profitable trade, right? So what I'm going to do here is that I assume that we're going to make another drop down to at least test the support for confirmation. And then we get this, probably dip into the support level, bounce back up and reclaim a previous level for support. This could be 145. And then you get the easiest trade, as then you get these lunatics with falling wedge structures. You get that. But essentially you get a deep wick down, bounce back up, reclaim of level, entry, stop, TP. Best easy way of trading. If we get that, essentially your first TP is going to be the level around 200, maybe even 190. These are the two areas that I'll be looking at for TPs. But overall, for investing structures, for bottoming out structures, you want to see something like this, in which we just start to consolidate from upwards trend, sideways, downwards trend, sideways. So you want to see that we are going to compress here. Essentially, you want to see that 137 holds as support, and then we make the bounce towards 200. They'll probably come back down again, and then you want to see a compression, and we can get a next impulse wave. So the levels that I'm watching on Zilliqa are pointed out here, which is between 127 to 137. And TP is 190, 200. If we don't get this entry, the basic one is that we have to flip 180. And if we flip 180, we can start targeting, well, that's not a very horizontal line. That's also not very horizontal. We can start targeting a 260, but that's a little bit further down the line. I think we can have a good time with getting that entry. If we lose 127, 137, I can think of from 95 to 105. All depending on Bitcoin, and I still believe Bitcoin is going to correct in a little bit. Then, Vechain. Well, we had the range. Let's not erase it in one go. We had the range. This was a potential play I wanted to have. But what we see here is heavy volatility, breakdown, previous level test for support, which can be done through these two blocks. Then we rally back up towards the resistance, range bound, lose the range, next level for support holds as support, rejection of the previous support and confirmation of resistance. Done that like 4 times, came back to support, and the more often the support gets tested, the more likely it's going to fall down. And in this case, we even rejected 180. Fell all the way down towards the previous support level, which is this block. We held there, and then we get a new rally up towards the previous support to get resistance there. So at this point, it's more short than a long, in my opinion. Nice rally up. You often see these rallies, but it doesn't change the whole structure of the coin. It's still trending down. If we get in these areas, I have to see through USDT chart, but I might be punting a short. What do we see here is essentially the same as what we see on Zilliqa, right? Heavy impulse wave up and then correction. And we still have some downwards levels that are untested, which is essentially the 100 level to 95. If we get there, then I'm happy to have the long. If we go down further down the line towards 65 to 75, I would be even more happy. But after such a wave, it always retests the previous levels. And based on the daily, we've got a very significant level at 174. And we've got the very important support levels at 95 to 103. As you see this, you can see the exact same figure as on Zilliqa. Constant lower highs and now lower lows. So you're looking for a clear-cut long entry. Otherwise, you're just going to short the previous support confirming resistance until trend changes, right? The trend is your friend. And in this case, we've got the exact same block as Zilliqa, which is going to be resistance most likely. So what are the levels that I'm looking at for potential longs? Well, I've pointed them out. We bounced on 1. So it's very likely that we're going to drop down the line towards 138 and then get another test upwards. If we get another lower high going here, a little bit like the structure here, it seems likely that we're going to drop down towards the 100 sets level, and then I'm punting a heavy long. If we get this structure and break towards 161, I'm assuming we're going to rally to 186 and potentially even 200 sets, prefer the 200 sets, and then it's most likely that we're going to flip 174 and continue. But at this point I would be very cautious with taking the longs and look for clear-cut levels before you are going to take these. So in this case we just see a bounce upwards in a downwards trending movement. So you want to see a more bottom structure like we do see in the previous runs, and then the long will be very clear. You take it, and that's the one you want to have. Vechain and Zilliqa show the exact same figures. Then finally Chainlink, essentially also the same as the previous coins. I don't know if I've got the right one here. Yeah, that's the right one. These blocks are always super annoying to have. I'd rather have just horizontal rays. I've written a Cointelegraph article on Chainlink earlier on, and I've pointed out the previous levels for support as levels that I'll be heavily interested in. And in this case, I think it's even more likely that we're going to get that retest of the previous resistance for support, which is the 55,000 level, as this structure does not seem we're going to have much more further up momentum upwards, but we don't know. At this point we bounce from support. We are in resistance similarly to Zilliqa and Vechain. The next level above us is the 74,000 sats level. But essentially if we grind up, it seems very likely that we have to at least test the support before continuation. So there's a level at 63 that you should be interested in. There's a level at 59.5. There's a level at 53,000. And then the trend might be shifting from downwards to sideways to upwards. So in between ranges, as we see with 69,000 sats, based on a 4 hour, there is no entry. Your entry is at support levels. There's even more reasonable arguments to take a short. But we do see the bullish diffs here, which essentially is always a strong signal that we might have some upwards momentum on coins. So in this case, I think the all crucial part is that we are in resistance, the first one. If we do reject 74,000 sats, it seems very likely that we're going to test lower levels for support. And then we have got the 3 levels that I've mentioned. So I would be watching out for these levels on Zilliqa, Chainlink and Vechain. And like beneath the video if you like this video. And I'll see you back tomorrow.